Good day, everybody. So today's word, I found it intriguing, and I know it's kind of late, but regardless, I'm doing this. And I knew when I read this earlier that I wanted to post it, but I ended up taking a nap after work. So here's this word. So this has to do with the fast, and so I remember, I felt like everybody I was talking to was like telling me to fast. I was reading in the Bible to tell me to fast. The things and sermons I was watching on YouTube were telling me to fast. I'm just like, man, I do not want to fast again. Like, come on. And it's like, I was like, Lord, I'm already skinny. Like, and that was me being disobedient, obviously, but I read this and it just kind of like, wow. And you'll know what I'm saying whenever I get to it. Because, so many places in the Bible it says when you fast, don't tell anybody that you're fasting. Get up and wash your face in the morning. You're not supposed to be telling people you're fasting, right? But I read this in Isaiah 58, and it was just interesting to me. So what is a fast? So here it is. It starts, cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Tell my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. Yet they seek me daily, and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness, and did not forsake the ordinance of their God. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching God. Why have we fasted, they say, and you have not seen? Why have we afflicted our souls, and you take no notice? In fact, in the day of your fast, you find pleasure and exploit all your laborers. Indeed, you fast for strife and debate, and to strike with the fist of wickedness. You will not fast as you do this day, to make your voice heard on high. Is it a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head like a bulrush, and to spread out sackcloth and ashes? Would you call this a fast, an acceptable day to the Lord? 58 verse 6. Is this not the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Let's read that again. Is this not the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh? Then your light shall break forth like the morning. Your healing shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry, and he will say, Here I am. If you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger and speaking wickedness, if you extend your soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then your light shall dawn in the darkness, and your darkness shall be as the noonday. The Lord will guide you continually, and satisfy your soul in drought, and strengthen your bones. You shall be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water whose waters do not fail. Those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations, and you shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of streets to dwell in. If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy day of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words, then you shall delight yourself in the Lord. And I will cause you to ride on the high hills of the earth, and feed you with the heritage of Jacob your father. The mouth of the Lord has spoken. So, thank you, Father God, for this word. So I remember I'd be like, I remember when I first had gotten sober, I might have not even been sober at this point. I just know that I had prayed to the Lord to like deliver me, right? And so I was like, kept being told to go on this 3-day fast. And so I did it. I did a 3-day fast, and I had this vision. And man, in this vision, it started off like, it was like a looking glass, like looking down on us at Earth. I remember looking up, and I'd see like this watchman, right, just looking on the Earth, and then the watchman would like move, and it was like a little circle glass mirror, but it wasn't a mirror. It was like a looking glass looking on us on Earth. And every now and then you'd see this big old deal. It was just like, at first it was just one at a time, just like if you can imagine like taking a step and then one right behind it, step. But it was this big tall thing, and all you could see in that first bit of it was like the legs of it, but each one was right after the other, and it was like all in it was like in sync, like marching. And then as I fasted, as the fast was going, I kept having this vision, and then it finally grew. So like, and it was a build up, and for time's sake, I'll just get to the ending of it. So if you could imagine thousands and thousands and thousands of angels, thousands and thousands and thousands of rows deep, like windrows, like crops, like windrows, and just all equipped and ready for battle. Their wings are like up and like upright, but they're tucked in, and they're all marching in perfect sync. And when I say thousands and thousands and thousands of angels, it's like I was the angel of the Lord, and just to the right, to the left, he was just counting. And these lines were so long, like it was like hills, like you were going through all these lines just so fast, like counting, like and every now and then it would like slow down and look to the left or the right, like it'd slow down and turn just to make sure an angel was ready. And when I'm saying, and like each row, like counting to the left and the right, like in this vision, it was like it was taking 10 minutes, but also it was counting at a speed like you've never gone before, faster than a plane or anything. And so after one row had ended, it like jumped, it had like went to the following row and started its way back down the line. Going down these long rows, making sure each angel was ready. It's like these angels they were equipped and ready for battle. They were prepared, and they were being counted with such urgency. And I knew it was urgent just by how fast they was being counted, but also like it would go back to like the tower, and then I would see like the watchman, and then like a dove. And it's like they were waiting, like just looking on us on the earth, like when is the time? Like they're just waiting for the time, like it's coming quickly. And that's really what got me started on this journey of like having a prophetic album. Really trying to do what the Lord has called me to do, even if I'm unsure about what it is. It's like one thing that is true, whether I'm right or wrong. The things I'm doing it for the Lord, because I don't want to be wrong. And if it comes out, if it's like, I gave my life to the Lord and I'm living for the Lord, and let's say, I wouldn't even say that because I just know it's real. Whether my life is meaningful or not, I do have a purpose in the Lord, and that's why I'm living today. For the Lord, and I'm living for the Lord so I can be a better father, so I can have a life of abundance and wealth and love and happiness and all these things that are promised, that the Lord promised. And I'm living for the Lord because I want to be faithful and obedient, because I'm grateful that the Lord delivered me from sin, out of darkness into light. And man, I'll play you the song that I had wrote about this fast. And, let's see if I can. This guitar's gonna be super out of tune, but how was it? Alright, so it's like, I think I played it before on another deal, but this has to do with that vision. So that's kind of, I guess. Hold on, this other one's like coming to me. So yeah. So anyway, back on the topic of fasting. So it's like I always thought that fasting was like specifically like, oh, you can't eat for so many days, and Jesus, it's talked about in the Bible that Jesus fasted for 40 days, and I believe it was after he was baptized. Yeah, after he was baptized by John the Baptist. When he rose up out of the water, that's when the light shone from heaven, and the Lord said, "This is my son in whom I'm well pleased." And Jesus wound up running in the wilderness and fasted for 40 days, and in those 40 days he was tempted by the enemy, by Satan. And on the 40th day, right? I believe it was the 40th day. And Jesus is, you could say in his weakest moment, right? The enemy still couldn't deceive him. It's like excuse me. Jesus said, if you're the Son of God, or Satan said, if you're the Son of God, turn this rock into bread. And Jesus said, you shall not live on bread alone. And there it is written, you shall not live on bread alone. And what else was there? It's like, if you're the Son of God, jump over or jump off this mountain, for it's written that the Lord's will send his angels over you. And Jesus said, thou shalt not tempt the Lord, and all these things, right? And in that instance, Jesus fasted for 40 days, but I kept just asking, like, man, why do you want me to fast? Like, and I wasn't even really being told to fast from food. It was just my own like carnal mind that was telling me that, because I wasn't too sure. But 58:6 is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh. Then your light shall break forth like the morning, your healing shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry, and he will say, here I am. If you take away the yoke from the midst, the pointing of the finger and speaking wickedness, if you extend your soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then your light shall dawn in the darkness, and your darkness shall be as the noonday. The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your soul in drought and strengthen your bones. You shall be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water whose waters do not fail. Those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations. And you shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of streets to dwell in. Peep this. If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, if you turn from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy day of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing your own ways, not finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words, then you shall delight yourself in the Lord, and I will cause you to ride on the high hills of the earth, and feed you with the heritage of Jacob your father. The mouth of the Lord has spoken. So what is a fast? Well, some of us, you could say, food. I mean, food is it would, not eating would be a form of fasting, because you're taking away your own pleasures of feeding yourself, For me, it could be food, because I love to eat. But also it could be, I find pleasure in watching things on YouTube. Take that away. Others, it could be drinking. You don't drink for a certain extent at a time. Others, it could be excuse me. It could be indulging in something that you love to indulge in on a daily basis, or something. Whatever you like to indulge in on a daily basis. Not even necessarily that it's something that's sinful. It's something that you like to do. Something that you find pleasure in. Don't indulge in that pleasure for a day, 3 days. How long should you fast? I don't know. There's, it talks about, I know in the Bible it says fast for 3 days on a journey, I think. I don't know, I've seen in the Bible there's like 3-day fast, or 10-day fast, 40-day fast. Use your own discernment in that regard. If you feel like the Lord's calling you to fast, whatever it may be, just pray about it, because, fasting could be different for all of us. But the main point of fasting that I'm trying to say is fast in order to glorify God. Don't do it out of strife or selfish reasons. Do it to literally glorify God. glorify God in your fast. Don't tell others you're fasting, but glorify God in your fast. And I'll be honest, I tried a couple of times to fast. Before this last fast, I only went a whole day. I went like exactly like a day, right? But that one day of fasting, I felt like it did a lot for me. But before that one day, I had tried fasting like 2 or 3 other times after that 3-day fast I did. But between that fast and the last fast I did, which was on a Saturday, and it was only a day, but the day after that fast, which was a Sunday, the first thing I ate was brownies and cinnamon rolls. So, but what I'm saying is, there's like 2 or 3 fasts I tried. I couldn't even do a day, couldn't even go till lunch. And, I ain't perfect. But, use your discernment. If you feel like the Lord's calling you to fast, pray about it. The Lord will let you know. You're going to feel conviction, so to speak. You're going to find the answer. You pray about it and you meditate on it. The Lord will give you a time frame. He'll put it on your heart what to fast from. And